I realized I recorded that previous whole bit and the microphone is off, so you didn't hear anything. So all I said was we're gonna put together the water pump and possibly install it in here, but it hinges on one thing. I need lithium grease to do this. So let's put the water pump, sort of lay out the parts in order in which they need to be assembled, and we'll go from there. So that's the whole water pump assembly. It goes through, clang, this whole bit here. The first thing that has to go in is the seal. Okay, just to give you a glimpse of the amount of preparation that went into this project before I actually started recording. I'm going to move some of this stuff out of the way here. I want to show you parts, 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 more parts. So, the E-clip I'm after, which I have one over here. I may have a replacement. I'd like to use the replacement if I have it. Let's go through some of these parts. Just to make sure. So this is all rear end, sort of rear swing arm and wheel, all in one bag. So labeled rear wheel and swing arm. Engine oil, which I'm going to put in the case right now. Here. So engine drain plug is what that is. It's got a little magnetic chip on it. Allen candle. Ah, it feels gnarly. Oh, it's not too bad. It's just that one spot was kind of rough. There we go. So engine oil drain plug. New and improved. Better than the one that Yamaha gave me. Probably forget to torque that. Get around to installing that one of these days. So my E-clip's not in there. Let's quickly rule out this one here. There's a few things in here. Foot peg spring, rear brake spring, rear disc bolts. There. Fix that situation right now. Clutch basket, lock washer. So that's half of this bag. So I have the stator mounting screws. Okay. Exhaust governor seal. Okay, here comes some of the clips. Transmission main shaft circlip. Transmission countershaft circlips. Transmission countershaft drive circlips. Water pump E-clip or circlip. I need to go find some lithium grease. I'll be right back. Okay, lithium grease obtained. You can see I prepped everything here. Got the E-clip in here. Water pump washer installed right there. Little copper washer, gasket. Oil fill cap and O-ring over here. And then the O-ring for this elbow fitting right here, which has to be greased and installed. We put this seal in here like that to grease that. Put the shaft through. I'll probably grease the shaft as well, as the book indicates. And then once we're done with that, put it all together, put the cover on. I'm actually going to torque this down. So I'm going to torque down these bolts here and get everything squared away. There's no reason why I should have to come back in here. You can see I've installed some dowels. I put a little moly grease on the tip of those dowels so they hopefully won't rust if they contact any moisture. And then I've got a gasket here. So I might have to rearrange some of this stuff and make a little more space so that you can see what's going on. So I just went and bought some cheap Permatex brand white lithium grease. So, whoa, came rocketing out of there. Yeah, I'm gonna need a driver for that. It's not gonna work. Boy, I'm an idiot. So the hole's smaller, I have to use a socket. I can't use this driver. I mean, I guess I could use it like this. I'll remove the gasket for now, it's kind of in the way. I really need to keep gaskets as clean as possible. We're good to go on that. Seal, I'll grease the water pump shaft. I should say the impeller shaft to be more accurate. So I'm going to grease this up here. And I might even grease up the back side of the impeller itself. Just to give it a little protection. This is the OEM impeller. There's nothing wrong with it. It is a weird color, but I think it's sort of taken on some of the green. I think it probably was yellow originally, sort of an amber, yellowish orange, and it's sort of taken on some of the color of the radiator fluid. So it has a weird green tint to it. So what this thing does is it actually spins and pumps radiator fluid up to the radiators and then through the engine. So that seats in there like that, and it rotates freely like that. Yeah, literally a water pump, right? It's an impeller for a water pump. And this side has no more grease on it. Okay, so it calls for a small amount of transmission oil. This seal is garbage now. The only reason why I kept it around is because it says water side on one side, and I just replaced it with the new seal in there that didn't say water side. So a pin here, I'm actually going to put a little bit of transmission oil on all these little parts on this side. So that seal allows transmission oil to keeps transmission oil from getting into the coolant, and vice versa, keeps coolant from getting into the transmission oil. This actually goes this direction onto there. I don't know if you guys can see that. Let's fix that. Okay. So the washer dropped down on top of that, and now the pin, the pre-oiled pin. Like surgery. And now this gear and the pin lives or rides in these grooves. Either one's fine. Here I'm just going to put a little bit of transmission oil onto it. That again, washers are directional, pay in close attention. Like that. And then instead of using the old clip, which I'll probably keep just in case, I'm going to install a new clip. The trick here is to make sure it's seated correctly. So this is usually a pliers and a screwdriver job. Don't want to scratch it up. Ha! Clipped in. So now that little clip is seated on the shaft all the way. That's the whole water pump right there. I mean, obviously this shaft connects, or this gear meshes with a different gear and causes it to turn, but parts. The next piece of this puzzle is cover. So the gasket here, and the cover goes on like this. Here we go. One really long bolt, several not as long bolts, and I'm not going to torque them just yet. Just going to get everything sort of started here. Why is there a copper gasket on one? Well, that's the one that's supposed to be used to drain coolant. So it's designed to allow coolant to leak out of that hole. I'm screwed. That's an engine case bolt right there. It doesn't thread in. It goes all the way through to the engine case. So even though I'm tightening it, it doesn't make any difference. You know, the manual didn't say anything about thread lock here. I think I might throw some medium strength thread lock on. That's all I'm doing, is a very, very small amount. There we go. Before I get the torque wrench out, the last one is this elbow fitting, and I gotta put some grease on this. Then the O-ring gets installed. Just slips over the top here. Try not to stretch it out too much. There we go. And from the factory, this elbow fitting was actually black, not silver. But I decided I wanted it to match, so. Just like that. Same deal with the thread lock, very light amount. But just prevent any kind of vibration from causing this to come out. And then to tighten in a star pattern. So always click the wrench twice, once to make sure, and then once to back off, and then do it a second time just to make sure that we're in a good spot. So once, back off, twice, and we've got it. And there you go. Water pump cover installed. This one bolt here, which it looks like I'm forgetting, it's so long. It goes entirely through this water pump, and it actually holds the housing, the whole clutch housing, onto the engine case. So it's just going to live in there for now. Actually, there's a couple more things to go on here. There's an oil level check bolt and washer, which actually go down here. That, and it goes right there, and it goes right in here like that. There we go. The last thing I'm going to do here is install the engine oil fill cap. Engine oil fill cap, O-ring for fill cap, both factory Yamaha parts, and then we're not going to tighten this hardly at all. So we're just going to put it into here. The last one I had to replace because of how cross-threaded someone had put it in there. It really was, it had really been cross-threaded and basically ruined. There we go. Now, this whole piece is awaiting the rest of the motor. So, well, not quite. There's a governor. We could put the governor in if we wanted to. So let me grab that and see what that would entail. All right, governor, right there. There's a whole bunch of shenanigans going on. Seal. This needs to be cleaned up. And then we'll be in business. Let's try a 3. There we go. All the time. So we'll close out back. Okay, so first. Get clean up in there. And I'm going to install that. Oh! Wire brush always gets me. Sometimes it'll get underneath the fingernails. That doesn't feel good when it does that. Pokes underneath your fingernail to your nail bed. I think at this point what I might do is put the whole thing in some carburetor cleaner for about an hour and let it soak. And I always keep it on the ground when I'm working with it. There's a little basket in here. You can drop your part in the basket and then lower it down into the cleaner. Give it about an hour.
1 hour later.
Not too bad. Through this hole. And this is kind of a funny situation here. Gosh, dropped the bolt. Where you have to push it in and turn it, and now it won't pull out. Now it's locked in there. So there we go. Cleaned up, installed, tightened down, ready to go. This whole piece is pretty much ready. The only part that's not ready here is the Kickstarter gear and drive and all that. So we'll come back to that. Now that whole boring bit is over, it's time to torque down all the bearing and seal retention clips. And then after that, we're gonna get into this package here. So let's move you over. I'll look up the torque spec. We'll do this really quickly. I'll probably just clip it in as a quick time lapse of me just bam, 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 torquing each one down, putting some thread lock on it and calling it good. Before I do that really quickly, hang on. This is the thread lock that they call for in the service manual here. It's 3-bond medium strength, and it's the medium strength that can go up to 200 degrees Celsius. 88 inch-pounds. check it enough times. Holy crap. That's it. That's all the bearing and seal retention clips installed, squared up, set up on both sides of the engine case. There's only 3, really. Here we go, onto the package. Okay, let's open the package. Box number 1, it's super light, feels empty. Box number 2, light box first. Cylinder head. I actually sent this away, right? I sent all these parts away to the machine shop to get them redone. The cylinder head looks like they honed and I don't know, resurfaced this here. I thought they were going to sandblast this top, and it doesn't look like they did. It looks like the same finish that I sent them. This looks like the new piston, new Wiseco piston. So I had them do an overbore just to the next size up a piston, and this is the next size up a piston. So they provided the piston here. Get some rings, wrist pin, instructions, and then the piston itself in this little bag. It's kind of cool. So, I mean, it is a YZ250. This is a marginal increase. I don't know what it would take it up to. Next box, I imagine, is the cylinder. Yep. So there it is. They sandblasted this whole bit. It looks like they resurfaced my gasket surface here. They couldn't get this bolt out, so they had to helicoil that bolt right there. So it's been helicoiled. If you don't know what helicoil is, I'd recommend just Googling it. It's essentially like a slip-in steel sleeve. Those threads are going to be stronger than the aluminum threads that were originally in there. So it looks like I'm going to have to clean out. Whoa, it looks like they may have changed the diameter of my bolt there. That hole is bigger than the other holes. So I'm gonna have to check that out. And I might have to clean out some of the metal material that's in there. And then they resurfaced this. Obviously I don't know if you can see that or not. They overbored it. So it's the same sleeve. It's a cast iron sleeve in there. But it's been bored to match that piston size. So that's what was in the package. It's really just these 3 things here. And we'll get those installed as soon as we get the bottom end done. The next step for the bottom end is the transmission. So that's going to be the end of this video here. I just want to thank you for watching the last few episodes. I know this one in particular can be a little mundane, just watching me go through some of these steps. But believe me, they're painstaking on this side too. It takes a lot of time and effort to get this done right. So I've got these back. Gonna work on this piece here. In the next video, we're gonna be shipping out the piston and the crankcases, or the crankshaft assembly. So this is the crankshaft assembly. We're gonna ship that out to a company to get a new rod installed, new bottom end bearing, and then get it balanced to match the new weight of the piston. So thanks again for watching. I appreciate it. And we'll see you next time.